on, don't fall out, it should be pretty fun.
I expect things that are beyond our comprehension to start happening, and this is why I think each of us have to start thinking outside of the box and just saying, hey, everything's possible, and be willing to open up to new possibilities here.
Well, you know what? Regardless of what happens, whether you're right or I'm right or, David Hatcher Childress is right, whoever, it's a moment that I think could be one of the greatest times in humankind, don't you think?
Oh, it's tremendously exciting, and to say nothing is going to happen, that doesn't make sense at all. Because just look around our world. I talk incessantly about the wormholes, and Stargate consciousness is the next leap in evolution for us. And just look around our world at what's happening in films. Look at the artwork that's appearing in urban centers around the world. It's all telling us that the future is here. We're going to be okay. We're embracing a new consciousness, and it's coming online.
Indeed it is. Let's go to Elaine, Fort Myers, Florida, as promised. Go ahead, Elaine. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
The thing that I'm wondering is, it's a two-point question, is that obviously in the Bible the ultimate evil is the serpent with Adam and Eve, and that's why we relate the serpents and all that to ultimate evil. And so that, that's really obvious. And the other thing is what about the ancient dinosaurs that roamed the earth? I mean, do they have anything to do with these dinosaurs, or the reptilians, I should say, that have anything to do with these extraterrestrials?
Not to my knowledge, and I think it's just an opinion that the Serpent of Eden is the force of ultimate evil. I think you've got some people that are in the Bible text that are trying to control us by keeping us from achieving this ultimate awakening, ultimate enlightenment, which is what the Serpent of Wisdom denotes in the Old Testament, as I understand it. I mean, everybody is perfectly willing to look at that, the book of Genesis, and come to their own conclusions, and I hope that they would come to their own conclusion, not the conclusion of what some guy standing there is telling them to think. I hope that individuals will do their own research, and perhaps the caller has done that, and with all due respect, I hope that she has. But what I find is that people just kind of dismiss this out of hand because somebody told them to do this since they were 5 years old, and they never question, why is that? Let's go back and see what this is really all about. Why is it that only the Bible, only the Old Testament, is the only text in the world that denigrates the serpent, and you know what? It also denigrates women. Is there a connection between those two facts? I believe that there is, because in all of the ancient spiritual traditions, especially the ones based on the divine feminine, the serpent was an ally. The serpent symbolized life force energy called kundalini, and as you raised the serpent, as you lifted the kundalini energy within you, you awakened your consciousness. So to dismiss the serpent is to say, I prefer to keep my consciousness closed and to not achieve the awakened or enlightened state. And then we also come on and say, well, what have these people done to women throughout the intervening centuries? Well, they've done the same thing they've done to the serpent. They've demonized the feminine half of our race.
What's your take on the Garden of Eden, William?
I think it's the center of the Milky Way galaxy. I think that they're describing the Eden is a place of pure light and pure love. And using the as above, so below formula, yeah, there probably was a place somewhere in the Middle East, maybe in ancient Iraq, maybe ancient Iran, where humankind originated. But the place that the mystic tradition points to is the center of the Milky Way galaxy, is the place of light and love from which we originated. And what I always encourage people to remember about the Garden of Eden story is that it was Yahweh, the Old Testament God, that evicted us from Eden. And when we were evicted from Eden, this place of pure light and pure love, Yahweh, or Jehovah, created a gate at the east of Eden and placed cherubim on either side of that gate and forbade us to return. And a second thing that he did that most people forget about is that Jehovah made coats of skin for Adam and Eve as he sent them out of the Garden of Eden. This suggests to me that our original state, once we were in that pure place, that Eden place, is we were light beings. And in a sense, you can think of the human body, the skin suit, is sort of like the orange jumpsuits that prisoners wear. And they identify with the orange jumpsuits. They become that, and they don't realize that they can escape that prison. They escape the prison by awakening their consciousness, by transforming, by metamorphosing into higher beings. And that's what this is really all about.
Next up, we go to Casper, Wyoming. It's Jamie's turn. Go ahead, Jamie.
Hi, guys. A few months ago, I saw these things in church buzzing around the people that were dancing and singing and worshiping and stuff. And I drew a picture of them, and they looked like big butterflies with tails. And I asked, I prayed, and I asked my spiritual friend Mordecai. I told you about him one time, George.
Right.
And they said that they were gift bearers. So I was wondering if, other than this picture of the saint receiving the marks from Jesus, if there's any other traditions of the seraphim or the winged serpents having butterfly wings. Thank you.
All right, thank you. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a very good question because, of course, the butterfly is the symbol of metamorphosis and transformation itself. And as I mentioned earlier, we're all in a pupal form here in the human body. We're seeking to become the metamorphosed human, which is symbolized by the butterfly. Do I know of any actual beings that have butterfly wings? No, I haven't seen that. But whenever you see the butterfly, it is a symbol of transformation and metamorphosis.
All right, it's Miami's turn. We go to Bob. Go ahead, Bob.
Hello, Pam.
Hi. Thanks for calling, Bob. Go ahead.
Good evening, George. William. Okay. I'm going to the book of Genesis, the first page, first three lines. I just want to get his translation of this. Okay.
All right, William, in Genesis, of course. What do you think?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Well, he's talking about the first three lines of Genesis, of course.
In the beginning, God created?
Mm-hmm.
Is this what we're talking about?
Yes.
And you want me to comment on that?
Sure, please.
Oh, yeah, very fascinating. A scholarly argument has always gone about that. Is the first word in Hebrew is bereshit, and the scholarly argument is does that word mean in the beginning or in a beginning? There's a huge difference between the two, and it seems that in part what it's describing there is a new chapter opening in human affairs, and it's fascinating to contemplate that because it suggests that there was another world before the creation of this world. And, of course, now today modern physics is all about that, saying that there have been perhaps many creations, that we live in a bubble universe within a bubble universe. And it's just fascinating to me.
You know, the fallen angels, that whole story fascinates me as well. Something obviously happened, whether they were ETs that came down here or true angels who became evil, I don't know. But something dramatic happened a long, long time ago, didn't it?
Without a doubt. And at the core of it, in my view, I mean, based on the evidence of the research that I've been doing, there has been an effort since the beginning, the opening of this chapter, to deprive humankind of necessary knowledge and to make us a subservient race. And what I've been about in my research is trying to figure out what is that knowledge and how can we embrace that. And what this knowledge is about is how we transform ourselves into light beings, God beings, or glorified beings. And the faction that seems to want to control things on this planet is the one that says, you are in no way entitled to do that. And that, to me, is a negative scenario. And I'm seeking to overcome that personally. I think a lot of people are seeking that. This is why they get frustrated with the church, because the church is always telling them what they can't do rather than what they can do. And unfortunately, there's not a single Christian church that I'm aware of that is teaching how we can transform ourselves into beings of light. Yet that's what Jesus' message was directly all about.
Okay, next up, we go to Mary in Ontario, Canada. Hey, Mary, go ahead. Mary? Well, it would help if I hit the button. Go ahead, Mary.
Hi, George.
Hi.
You know how you reported not too long ago that in China they had a cat that was growing wings on its side. Well, like today we're working with all this transgender stuff with mixing humans with animals, and how we have all these underground cities. And I believe that we obtained this very same level of technology years before the Great Flood, and we screwed up the planet, and we blew it. And all the enlightened, after we did that, there was all these enlightened people